Welcome, everybody. We are here for another show that is your Blue Collar Crypto Show. I'm Kurt Ruskoff, and I'm here with the World of Ability Podcast Network. And this show, Blue Collar Crypto Show, is created by Tim Torosian, and we have his co-host, Neil Weber, here. They've got quite a great show lined up for you. Blue Collar Crypto Show was inspired out of cryptocurrency and then looking at how blue collar workers can apply it. I observe this program as being really great for those that are experiencing more month than money. And what are you going to do to complement and supplement and get some more income on top of your paycheck from a blue collar job? So, with that, some great topics and insight to reach more and more people out there in the blue collar worker field, and maybe even some things that span off if you're a white collar worker and whatever. But we're going to do it in the auspices of Blue Collar. Here it is, Blue Collar Crypto Show by Tim Torosian and co-host Neil Weber. Tim, take it away. This is your Blue Collar Crypto Show.
Hi, I'm here with Neil Weber, and we've decided to focus on the workability of disabled. A lot of disabled people receive compensation. But we're not gonna focus on the money aspect in this show. We're just gonna get personal with people's lives, people that are disabled, and how they can focus their lives to be more meaningful through work. And we call this the Work Ability Show. And with that. I don't have a disability per se, but I'm surrounded. My life is, I live in a building where a lot of people are disabled, and like Kurt said, there's more month than money. So the focus is financial, but also, everything's financial. You're waiting for some compensation so that you can spend money, but then we're trying to get the focus away from the money and to the ability of people who have disabilities. Let's focus on what they can do. If you're disabled and you're listening to our show, you're in the right place. We'd like to focus on you and the opportunities to discover your talents and use them, and to find employment, even with the fact that you might be getting compensated, you can still make things work. Now, I have in my family an uncle and a nephew that were both disabled, and they received specialized care, but it's not like they needed nursing. They didn't need that, but they needed coaching, mentoring. They needed work opportunities, educational opportunities. In my family, those are the things that family support, family understanding, family love, all that stuff works to the advantage. What doesn't work to your advantage is a family that doesn't take care of its own, like disabled people inside of it, doesn't appreciate it, doesn't nurture it. So that's the other side of the coin. So there's more examples today, more and more, of people developing their talents. My uncle, he drove to work. He owned a car. He worked a 40-hour week in the manufacturing. My nephew is going to some of the best schools, wants to be a lawyer. He's going to school in London. He's got autism. So I just have so many good examples that I know of. And then we're going to talk to Neil, and then Neil and I will have a discussion together. So I'll give it to Neil. Go ahead.
Yes, I think,
Neil Weber.
Tim, thank you for sharing your examples of your successful uncle and your promising nephew. Those are two individuals who are either overcame or overcoming their handicap, their ability. They find their ability within their disability, and that's a primary vision of our program. Is workability means finding your ability within your disability, and I'm finding that as well. I think the important thing is try to find your passion. Your purpose in life comes through your passion, and so 80% of people with mental illness and on disability don't work, and only 1% of those on disability in America graduate from that to full-time work, and that's my goal. That's been my passion for 22 years. I'm on the cusp of doing that. I'm working part-time. I've worked at Outpost Natural Foods as a clerk for 2.5 years, and
do I get a refill or
what?
Yeah, that doesn't work. How about just a coffee? Oh. Okay. Good. Yeah. Neil, are you still going at it?
I'm here. I'm waiting. Yeah. So
together.
So I think the key is to find your purpose. And a purpose,
okay.
For the non-disabled person, that purpose is food, clothing, and shelter. For the disabled person, that person has an additional burden because that person has to find meaning limited by the fact that he can only earn $1,200 a month, and be taxed for that while receiving a generous supplement and Medicare and Medicaid, or if he qualifies, from the government. So I think the key is, if you can, and very few people in the world can do this, is work your purpose of work with your passion. And I think that's what I'm trying to do. So I think it's very important to try to find meaning in your life. And for a long time, I was looking for meaning, and now I'm looking for a paycheck in that meaning. And I'm trying to find a way that I can provide for myself while doing work that is meaningful, but I want to work. And sometimes you can't always, work your passion. So I'm open to the fact that, my purpose, my work, my employed work may not be my passion. I may have to do passion outside of work. So I think, that's what we're trying to do, is offer people an opportunity. There's been books written about this. There's What Colors Your Parachute. There is Do What You Are. And there are Strength Finders, and there are many other examples of authors who have written books that have sold millions of copies about finding your true purpose, your passion in life. And I'm going to hand it back to you, Tim, with the idea that we need to be, first of all, we've defined workability as finding the ability within the work is within disability. Then we moved on to examples of your uncle and your nephew, and then we moved into the idea that you need to find a purpose and passion. And if you can work, not everybody can. Like I said, 70-80% of people on mental health disability don't work. So they need. I think everyone needs to do some contribution back to the society, because everyone that receives a check, everyone receives it as a talent. And the scriptures are very clear about this. We're a Bible-based program, so I'm not going to shy away from talking about the faith. And it says clear in the scriptures that God gave 3 talents to one person, 2 talents to another, and 1 talent to one person. And the man with 3 talents invested those talents and abilities, and he was blessed with more. The man with 2 talents went ahead and invested those talents, and was blessed with more. But unfortunately, the man with 1 talent, when he didn't put it in the bank toward yield interest, he hid it, buried it in the ground, and that was fear. He did that out of fear. And so I think we need to use our talents. And too often, whether you're on disability or you're from a wealthy family or you're dependent upon somebody else, your husband or wife, for income, you may decide to bury that talent. And I know family members that do that. That's very sad. And people don't have the faith themselves. They may have faith in God. They don't have faith themselves to utilize the God-given talents they have. So you have any response to that stream of thinking?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I know, because our host here, our producer, Kurt, has mentioned that, when there's support in the community, we're talking the corporate community, where they hire people with disabilities, and where there's a more even and bigger opportunity for people to work in corporations, like where corporations are more welcoming to the disabled person, in hundreds of different specialties, employment opportunities, hundreds of opportunities in these different corporations. And also to touch on, like, I'm trying to stay away from the financial aspect here, because really, if you're disabled, this is a quality of life issue that a disabled person is not enjoying their life in an acceptable way, where we decide it's not acceptable for somebody to be locked up, to not have an opportunity to earn money, to self-actualize, to develop their talent. Like somebody who has an ability, who doesn't have it, they have an opportunity to develop their talent in the workforce. But those that are disabled, they don't have the same opportunity to do that, to develop. It takes 4 to 5 years to develop your professional ability, but when there is no opportunity to get started on a 4 to 5 year journey to do that, a disabled person is being cut short, discriminated against, because by the workforce, by the that we all pay into, we all pay into the pot, right? And then a corporation will train us, employ us, and hopefully keep us for a career. Disabled people don't have that same opportunity. And I will just keep talking on this show as we have shows about the ability, the way to enhance somebody's ability within their disability, to how to find that, how to mentor, how to train people with disabilities. It's different. It's a different process than those who are considered to not have a disability. There's a different mentorship, different training. And I think we're just at the beginning of that era where we're everybody has a chance to earn a living, and disabled people should have an equal chance. And I think with our discussions we can help even change some things in the world, possibly. We don't know that, though. It's a podcast, but let's see what we can do to change some perceptions, or educate and entertain and inform and change people's lives.
Tim, you mentioned the word actualization. Do you know what? Could you define for the listener what that word means?
Well, if you want to actualize your life, that means wherever you are, whoever you are, disabled or abled, you have an opportunity to develop a marketable skills in the workforce, but marketable skills for a particular job. Okay. And so you become more valuable to that company that you work for. And so that's what we mean is of course, everything will be compensated. We are looking for a paycheck, but we're also looking to develop our talents, and that's actualization. That's developing our personal, individual talents in the workforce. And the more companies that allow us to do this, the more we'll have the more companies have this on their agenda, and also at the same time, the more of our disabled population will be happier. They'll live longer lives. But it comes through actualization is the word I used. Live longer, happier lives, more meaningful lives. But it's in the workforce, is what I'm saying.
Yes.
And we can only cover so much in every show. We want everybody to participate. We'd like this to be a two-way discussion between us and the audience that's listening. But we encourage you to come back and listen to and be here for every show. We're going to have a lot of material. So, what do you say, Neil?
Well, I think we should turn it over to Kurt to close us up for the day. I think we met our time limit. We need to close out the show. Kurt, can you do that for us, please?
Absolutely, guys. Great show. Thanks for doing it. So that concludes another Blue Collar Crypto show. So yeah, make sure to keep tuning in every Sunday. We've got Tim coming back for the 4 and 5:30 shows, and then Neil hops in and buddies up with Tim for this 5:30 showing every Sunday evening is the first premiering of these shows, and then they're evergreen, ready for you to go back to off the YouTube channel by the World of Abilities. So the World of Ability Network is where you can find it. YouTube.com/@Ability Network. Go ahead and subscribe, and that'll help you make sure not to miss any episode of Blue Collar Crypto. And we want to give a shout out to our executive chef, Andeline Gray, with the Maroon Cafe and fusion cooking with Italian, French, and Jamaican meals. Happiness and health and happiness on a plate. So we're having fun building a future for her. So we've got food for thought and food for consumption, all right here at the Blue Collar Crypto Show. So until next time, I'm Kurt Roska with the World of Ability Podcast Network. Bye for now.